那我想就是因为已经超过5分钟，所以我把连结 I will post the link in the event page, and if you know someone who want to join the event but they didn't book, you can also share the link with them. So we will start like 1 or 2 minutes after. Yeah. 那我先贴一下。
Okay.
I can use the Zoom link that you sent on Messenger, right, Ricky?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
The same link.
Okay.
LD.
Hello. 庭宽，我们开始吧。
好。Okay, good evening, everyone. Selamat malam. I'm Sima and also the moderator for Artist Talk tonight, and it's nice to see you here, even though in the Zoom meeting. First of all, thanks Raki and Easter, Nusantara Archive and Digital Art Foundation for organizing this event, and special thanks to our partners from the Cultural Taiwan Foundation who always support us. Tonight we have Irwan, Ahmett, and Tita Salina. Hello. And they're the artist collective based in Jakarta, Indonesia. And we have our guest speaker, Saubin, from Malaysia. He's an artist and also curator. Thanks for being here tonight. Okay. And in this online residency project of Nusantara Archive, Irwan and Tita have done a great journey from the current capital, Jakarta, to Kalimantan, where the future capital of Indonesia will be located. They also visit a couple of historical sites of ancient capital of Majapahit Empire. This film, Iron Placenta, is their residency work in Twinning Archipelago program by tracing the phenomenon and fact of Jakarta's subsidence and the death of Majapahit Empire and the exploitation of natural resources in Kalimantan. They have try to find the connection between superpower and the ecological disasters. As what they mentioned in the film, agriculture and natural resource met Majapahit Empire, and so did Dutch East India and Indonesia now. So what they try to talk about the land and water in Bahasa Indonesia or Malay languages. Tanah means land and air means water. The combination of these two words, land and water, makes a special term, Tanah Air, which means motherland or homeland. So what they want to talk about is not just about environment and survival of human beings, but also about the power and the identity of nation. So tonight, Irwan and Tita might have a lot to share with us. But before we start our discussion, I would like to ask all the participants to give a brief introduction of yourselves, perhaps in 1 or 2 sentences, or just say hi, and no problem. You can also send message in the chat box. And who is going to be the first? Maybe Raiki, and the next.
Hi, I'm Raiki, and I was busy typing on Facebook now because I think that the link, I wanted the link if it's some problem, but anyway, now Zoe is coming, so I have no problem now. Next one, Esther.
You're mute now.
Hi, I'm Esther. I'm in Taipei now. It's quite cold. Okay. Next, Wenshan.
Wenshan.
Hi everyone, I'm Zhang Wenxuan. I'm also an artist.
Timing.
Timing.
Hi everyone, I'm Timing from Malaysia, but in Taipei now. Okay.
Hello, Claudia. Maybe.
Hi, I'm Claudia. I'm an artist and choreographer, and I'm in Vienna. And I love the work of Tita and Irwan.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm Yaya. I'm also an artist and doing media artwork. That's it.
Okay, we have also Shoei.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello everyone. I am Ayunita. You can call me Ayu. I'm from Indonesia. I'm a writer, also still student in here. And I'm a friend of Mas Irwan and Mbak Tita. Hello.
Hi, malam.
Malam.
Okay, who's going to be the next? We can skip LD. Is that LD?
Halo.
Hai.
Halo. Kok videonya nggak ada? Wait. Hai. Halo Sima.
Halo.
Mas Irwan, Mbak Tita. MLD ya.
好。嗨，秀仪，要跟大家打个招呼吗？宏源。
秀仪还有逸轩都不见了。
没关系 ，OK。
还有嘉兰。
好。Okay, no, maybe we go on.
Yeah.
Okay. I would like to remind all the participants, you can leave your message in the chat box if you have any question or anything to share. Yeah, just leave the message in the chat box. All right, and Irwan and Tita, it's your turn. Yeah, they would like to share about this film, Irwan Placenta, with us. Okay, please.
Hello everyone. Actually, right now it's like in the middle of prayer. Oh yeah, Jong-un, please. If you want to introduce yourself,
would like to say
yes,
something.
please.
Hi, nice to meet you. I'm Chung Lim. Should I say something? No.
Short introduction about you.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Chung Lim. I'm based on Korea, Seoul. Yeah, I'm a curator, Chochalan. And this year I work with Tita and Irwan in Korea, and also Taiwan artist this year. And and nice to meet you. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Oke, silakan dilanjut. Irwan, Tita?
Yeah.
Okay, you need to share your screen.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
Hello, hello. Are they still here?
Hello. Sorry.
Sorry. Now I try to quit my Internet Explorer. No, sorry. My internet connection. So I hope now it's better. Okay, I'm so happy to be here, and thank you, Sima, for the introduction and such a lovely face. I'm really happy to be here. I know it's very last time, in the last year, but it's kind of in between to tell a little bit story about our work, but also the possibility to develop for the future. Because within this project, we've been working for almost 3 months, yeah, and also combined with some previous research. So we collect many stories and possibly different kind of narrative how we can express ourselves. But we want to push the potential capability of our imagination as an artist to more further develop this project into, let's say, more complete version. So within these videos, we just only edited around 18 minutes, which is quite short and too complex to combine everything. Some of you maybe already seen the videos, but if not, we can share after the talk later on. Yeah, so that's a little bit about the short introduction. Tita would like to add something?
Yeah, so yeah, during this online residency, we formally we start doing the residency from August until November. Of course with remote, but of course between those times we also working with something else. So and also this journey is part of I mean this journey from Java to East Kalimantan somehow involved with several projects that we are doing in the same time.
Just like a compensation, we cannot go abroad, but we still can do many things here inside our own country, and we try to reflect in let's say the area is more familiar with us. But before the discussion started, I would like to give a little bit about the pictures of the journey, and maybe later on we'll lead to the question like, why a journey? Do we need to do this kind of thing as an artist? But at least to give a big picture about the distance, scale, and also the geopolitics of the process. So I just want to share one slide. Sorry, let me share the screen. Wait a minute. I mean, for some people who not really familiar with the Indonesian maps, it's very helpful. But even for Indonesian, I mean, it's so huge. Some people don't know exactly where is the location. Wait a minute. Okay, can you see it? Yeah, Tita can tell a little bit the process from Jakarta and the scale of the archipelago.
Yes, so yeah, this is Indonesia. So Indonesia is one of the biggest archipelago. So I think most of you know where geographically the location where the country is. Yeah, so we started this journey from Jakarta, the current capitals that are now really, how to say, suffering and also overexploited things like industrials and also massive migrations or transmigrations from other islands. And this journey, we call this journey the capitals, like because during this journey we visited the current capitals to the future capitals, and it consists of the, how to say, the ancient capitals, which is yeah, the gray dots that's in East Java, in Trowulan. So a long time ago, we have this big kingdoms, Majapahit, from the 13th to 16th century. So we can say that this is the old ancients and old capitals, right? And then we continue to East Kalimantan, the future capitals, where yeah, it would tell.
Yeah, the idea addressing to this subject, because it's a very recent, and also the announcement by the government, it's a kind of quite shocking. The idea to move the capital is already since maybe a decade or even more, but now it's already announced, and even some land already converted into the plan of some important building. But also in some countries, this is kind of shift the political power in the general. From the history, we can learn what happened. For example, the moving kind of capital during the Ottoman to modern Turkish, right? From Istanbul to Ankara, or maybe in Brazil, they also moved the capitals. Even right now in Egypt, they create magnificent project by moving from the Cairo to the desert. They completely built a new master capital from scratch. In some other countries, they also have a different experience, like Australia and even Malaysia. But we also had this experience before when Indonesia declared independence from Japan. The capital moved to Jogja and later on back to Jakarta. But this is something very different. This is kind of happened in in the very specific condition, but also in the future could be shift the potential identity of the archipelagos. For example, Indonesia is very Java-centric, but the new location will be built in Kalimantan. I mean, for some people, it's still confusing what is Kalimantan and what is Borneo. So perhaps Tita can explain in the simple way what is the difference between Kalimantan and Borneo.
So yeah, so Borneo actually is the name of this big island. So internationally known as a Borneo Islands, but Kalimantan actually is used for Indonesian term.
Indonesian territory.
Yes, Indonesian territory. So we call it Kalimantan. So
in the huge tropical islands in Kalimantan or Borneo, it's 3 countries, right? Like Indonesia and East Malaysia and Brunei. But also this island, it's a very unique. If we see from the geological landscape, you can see how vulnerable Java is. I mean, from the tectonic movement or seismic movement, the Australian plate keeping pushed the earth plate that create a lot of volcanoes around the area. So it's a very often to have earthquake or even tsunami or landslide. But in Kalimantan, it's kind of considered safe because it's out of that vulnerable plate. This is one of the reasons Kalimantan is kind of safest islands an archipelagos. But is it safe? I don't think so. So that's a little bit about the introduction. The process, it's a bit like challenging because we can easily fly, but to Kalimantan from Jakarta, but we try to be more dramatic. Before we try to do the same things by using public transport from Jakarta to Bangkok without plan. So it's just like using public transport, ship, and bus. So, but this time we try to make simplified because of the restriction of the pandemic. So we convert our car into kind of production of documentary project for us. Luckily, we could bring our 2 crews and also 1 friend from Kalimantan, which is already here, Ayunita Xiaowei. So she helped me a lot to introduce Kalimantan, who have different cultures, language, and also many complex of identity. For me, still completely new things. But in the process, we crossing the middle part of Java and move to Semarang, the second largest port and coastal area, and then continue to ancient capital that Sima mentioned before. So it was exists centuries ago, but now it's already demolished. So the remain site, it's already like 4 or 2 meters below the surface. And we tried to visit the museum, but unfortunately the museum closed because of the restriction of the pandemic. And we tried to sneak to find kind of secret location that's still possible for us to even digging or find a lot of materials. And from this discovery, we found a lot of interesting stuff, such as animal bones, magnificent ceramics, terracotta sculptures, and
the ceramics probably coming from mainland China.
Yeah,
dynasty. Yeah.
But the most intriguing part, we discover a school, the human bones. So we call it left eye. So this human bones, it's kind of a bit tricky for us. Do we need to leave it that, which gonna be destroyed by the nature because nobody want that kind of,
Nobody cares.
nobody cares. Oh, we need to take it, and we decided finally to take it. And later on, we visited other location, and after in the last day, there is kind of local archaeological community who offering us gold, really gold. So they found gold. I mean, if I bought this gold and sell it to the black market, maybe I stop as an artist. No, I'm joking.
Can sell for very expensive.
So, but which is kind of very obvious that area it was very rich, and probably one of the crazy rich Asian communities a long time ago. I mean, for example, they created many sculptures, like small sculptures, but this sculpture wearing a magnificent accessories like this size of gold and bring huge bag. So inside bag, it's kind of the measurement of the prosperity. So the bigger bag, the rich this person. When I zoom to the face, it's not looks like Japanese. It looks like Chinese. So it's like makes me confused. So in the future, we want to do more research about the skull. I mean, in the forensic level, for example, like how old, and if possible to apply to the laboratorium to see the cause of the death, for example. But again, we need a strong letter. If not, it's gonna be easily become breaking the law and considering a criminal act by stealing the ancient artifact. So now that skull still in our homes, in my studios, we call it left eye, and yeah, he or she looks nice, and even we don't know he or she. And not far from that site, it was another man-made disaster. It happened 15 years ago when the extracts of gas mining collapsed. So basically they're drilling to suck the gas for the industrial purpose. But then the structure was collapsed, and nobody cannot stop the burst of the mud from the bowl of the earth. So I was there 15 years ago, and at that time it was like catastrophic because people are panic, and my spontaneous reaction is just jump to that mud. I tried to swim, but the mud is just like just like suck my bodies. But I don't know what would happen to my body if I keep floating on that mud. But this time, I'm really curious what will happen if I really submerge into that mud. So I challenge myself. I know it's a very risk performance, and unfortunately, the audience is only Tita, so not much audience. And this is a very bad smell. It's almost like the smell of the toxic methane gas. So you feel something really in your throat. And I try to be as fast as possible to jump into this mud. And surprisingly, because that mud, it's contain a lot of minerals and salt. So my body is floating. It's almost like swimming in the Dead Sea. I try to push hard on my body, but the water pressure, the salination of the salt, it's keeping my body floating. But I need I need the experience to be on Earth. And finally, it's a terrible experience because Tita stepped off my body and pushed my body.
That's behind the scene.
Behind the scene, pushed my body exactly maybe until completely disappears into the mud.
Yeah, because also after 15 years, while the mud is keep flowing and flowing, and now it's like a huge
Lake.
pool lake of mud, and some say that it can be like a 20 meters depth. So it's really a catastrophe. So like 10,000 villages were destroyed, and countless houses and also cows, chickens. Yeah, to see it in the satellites, the scale, we cannot imagine the scale, but when we see it by our own eyes, like it's really I don't know, I don't know why it can happen, and why human cannot stop the mud flowing.
So I accidentally that liquid come through my nose and goes to my throat. So, but the body, it's a very unique. The throat system have the and the lung, they have the mechanism to trap the strangers materials, right? So the throat produce so many liquids to trap that mud. So when I go up, I just coughing and spitting a lot, and I claim to myself, my spitting are venomous like cobra.
Venomous.
So this is kind of a little bit playground for that experience, and we continue the journey to Surabaya, the largest port in perhaps after Jakarta in Java. And there is a Japanese ship, actually ex-Japan, bought by Indonesian company. So the instruction, the audios, the text is Japan, but the people all inside is Indonesian. This is funny experience actually. So this ship, it's bring us to Kalimantan for 2 days, around 2 days. It's amazing in the middle of the sea because we see the how Java become industrialized, like so many factories, and a lot of natural resource pass by when we crossing the Java Sea, such as wood, sand, of course coal. It's like the most recent or the most obvious materials we pass each other. And then finally we arrived in Kalimantan. Voila, this is my second time to in Kalimantan. And in Kalimantan, it's a lot of things happen in the after my last visit, but my purpose is very clear, likes to visit the new capitals. And also I want to meet orangutan, because orangutan is our relatives. 12 million ago, we are share same ancestor, but orangutan goes to different directions. One of the reasons probably because of the climate change. And unfortunately, we couldn't meet orangutan because, again, they protect this endangered animal because the possibility to infect by the virus during this pandemic, vice versa from human to orangutan, because we are almost similar, have almost similar DNA. But we discover another primates, a huge primates, but still not really great primates. We call it Bekantan. It's a very unique primates. They one of the most interesting part of these monkeys, because they communicate. They have several sounds to distribute, to send a message, even to organize the communities, but not language. Communication is different with language. Of course, I cannot understand what they're talking about, but the body gesture, we are share similar things as an apes. And later on, we went to the last rainforest. We call it
Wine.
Yeah, Sungai Wine. One of the probably the last rainforest in the East Sumatra, East Kalimantan. So, at that place,
Ayun, please correct if we are giving.
We did the research about termite and ants. So because this termite, they constant moving the colonies from one side to other sides, never stop. But termites, it's proboscis monkey, it's bekantan. Thanks. Termites more peaceful than ants because ants, they kill each other, they beheaded. I tried to find a self-exploded ant, but unfortunately there is not exist in that forest. It's almost like suicide bomber. So when this ant facing enemy or threats, they will suicide, explode themselves. And this produce acid and will kill the enemies. It just remind me an extremist or jihadists who sacrifice their life in terms of their ideology. So it's not something new. Ants already practicing this kind of things. And later on, we do a research about birds and different kind of endemic plant. Why Kalimantan is so unique? Because, for example, there is only we can just tell a little bit about one story of the trees. That tree that only grow for
1 centimeter per year.
It was 1 centimeter per year, and to be ready to cut, it's need maybe 100 years. So this tree, it's a very expensive in the market, but it's very difficult to replant or to reproduce because it not make sense in terms of productivity because it's too long. And these trees, they produce to create structures or even ship
houses.
Houses. And then we went to, of course, the new capitals, and we're lucky to sneak to the capital because it belongs to the private companies, and nobody cannot go inside without the permission. But we are lucky bastard. Our car is exactly the same like the guest car. So they think we are the guests. So they let us go in to the new capitals, and we play and have fun inside the new capitals. Of course, we record many things: sound, audio, performance, saltings. And I think I misunderstood about the new capital will develop or will build in the middle of the jungle. There is no jungle at all.
Yeah, so actually the locations, they said that it's about 250,000 hectares. So this huge land actually is not forest. So actually this is industrial forest. So all are planted, all are industrial trees for papers, for tissues, and also palm oil, and also of course coals. So there is no such kind of thing that they will make like green cities or something like that. But although they have plans to make again like a man-made forest around 6,000 hectares, so they will plant with endemic trees. But the thing is, how to say, at the end we understand that this is not about the how to say, the mission is not about how to build the the nation capital, but this is about the transactional. Because although the state owns the land, but since the land is so productive and produce many things of how to say hasil alam tuh, natural resources. Of course, there are companies. Of course, there are business behind all of this, and we are pretty sure that this company who runs this business will not give it back voluntarily to the country, to the government.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Finally, we discover a very important site, which is believed and already announced that will be built for the East Presidential Palace. And secretly, we planting something behind that surface. So we call it we planting the placenta. And why iron placenta? I mean, Majapahit people also did the same things, but they put the placenta inside the terracottas and buried. This is kind of respect to the motherland and also to build the identities. But this new capital was born without placenta. So we create a placenta by invite people to write and collecting materials and put inside the iron capsules. And why placenta? Because in the biological process, actually placenta is sending iron from mothers to the baby. This is a very important part of human lives, but also it will throw away after the baby was born. At the end, we did the performance by digging up the land and following the all these rituals by buried the iron placenta in the place for the next presidential palace for Indonesian, future Indonesian. And in the matter of fact, this is a very important to highlight about the identity, because in the next, let's say 2 or 3 decades, Indonesia will be a very different countries, because right now we are facing a huge bonus by the massive population from the productive age. So the numbers of young people is much larger than others. That's why we send these young people to other countries as migrant workers, because there is no jobs here. But soon it will change. Indonesia will facing a different reality. We are maybe like Germany, or even like in Taiwan. We are facing aging population, and we don't know yet what kind of possibility to others country who already depends on Indonesian, such as Korea, South Korea, Malaysia, Taiwan, who their basic economy really support by the young ages Indonesian. Okay, thank you.
I think that's all.
Okay. Thank you, Irwan, Tita. Thanks for sharing. Okay. Wow, it's so amazing. Today is Indonesian Mother's Day. So it's a little bit sad to hear that, hear the story. Okay. Okay. Before Saubin's give us feedback, I would like to remind again, if you have any question or anything to share with others, yeah, please leave the message in the chat box. Okay, we have limited time. It's 10 minutes to 9, so we still have 20 minutes left. So okay, Saubin, please, if you have it, do you have any feedback or response to their work?
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, good. All right. Yeah. Thanks, Irwan. Thanks, Tita. Right. So very quickly, I just go into where I want to say. Picking up from our previous conversation when Raiki and the team and Esther, you invited me to be an observer for the exchange for the artist open studio online for Twinning Archipelago. So I was actually watching some of the work that Tita and Irwan share with us. And I think I noticed that part of the images actually goes to the APT work as well. The dragon-headed Garuda. So before I knew the title of dragon-headed Garuda, and when I was watching the whole footage that Tita and Irwan was sharing with me, I was thinking, oh, right, this is about the decapitating of the capital, because they show us images of how they would enact a whole action of making a very big curries, a big knife, sword, which is like the size of I think, a boat, and then you were trying to literally and figuratively and metaphorically cut the water, to cut the dragon, and also talk about another mythical animal, the Garuda, coming in. So the whole thing that has been puzzling me after watching the latest this work, and I must say that I'm sort of commenting with a very mixed footages of images by Tita and Irwan. I'm mixing up Batam, Bila Anda Tiba Anda Menyesa. I'm mixing up name laundering. I'm mixing up apocalyptic smile. I'm mixing up the dragon-headed Garuda. These are all the work that Tita and Irwan has been making together. I think for me, I think it's a blessing for me because I have been following this work, and then so I see the interwovens of these images and the narrative together. And perhaps I think the first question I want to ask is that how would this project fit into the larger Ring of Fire research project? But I think that one you can answer later, because in that sense, how is it actually expanding the discussion of geopolitics or the concern of geopolitics that was initially like positioned within Ring of Fire? But so that is first question. The other comment or more like my observation I've been thinking about is the notion of doubling. Double, kembar, dua, repetition, reenactment. I see that notion, in that sense, I see this motive being repeated in different ways. To talk about the placenta, for example, the placenta is a twin, is the double of that who is born, right? So when you're born, whether it's a boy or a girl, okay, the being, but yet you have the shadow, you have the placenta, and that placenta as what is being narrated. By the way, in this work, I think sounds like Tita is taking over, channeling David Attenborough, right, to sound like a National Geographic, that kind of narrative. So it's very different as well from some of the previous work as well. So I was thinking about this idea of doubling, the twin, okay, how it is being explored and also play around with in a very poetic way in terms of conceptual way as well. And I see that actually happening in the approach of both of you. When, for example, in name laundering, I remember where Irwan, you spoke about the girl or someone who was in the water, right? And then so you also did that as part of the performance. So I think in your previous discussion for Batam, Bila Anda Tiba Anda Menyesa, with Esther Liu, you actually talked about the idea that participatory in a sense. But I think your kind of participation is that I myself, we need to participate, we need to re-perform that. So I'm also thinking whether that reenactment in a way is the kind of double that you want to do. Because I see that again in apocalyptic smile when Tita said that that was the same day of your birthday, but that you missed it. So you want to reenact again. So here, I think what I'm trying to get to is that I'm looking at what is the formalistic strategy the artists are actually deploying, and how I'm actually noticing this kind of formalistic as well as visual and conceptual strategy is interwoven into your work. Okay, maybe this is just more like providing my reading in that sense, and this is what I enjoy reading into this. What I consider maybe it's a kind of like play that you're very strategically playing with this. And again, we saw that in the work when you were talking, when you actually submerge yourself in the mud, all right? So again, that in a sense that I need to experience that to really feel what it is. Okay, I want to reenact that whole idea, because that scene of I think Irwan, when you actually submerge in the mud, comes sort of after the narration about left eye, right? When you discover the left eye in Majapahit, right? The relics, and then you move on, and then starting talking about this mud and things like that. That how is a failed mining and exploitation projects of resources and led to such natural disaster. So it's interesting in a way that I see this as well being peppered across your performative research journey. Okay, so this is just one thing that I sort of been thinking about. I said, hey, right, I know what there's something interesting in the kind of formal language that both of you are actually utilizing in the work. And in this case, it really worked interestingly in terms of the idea of the beheading the old capital such that you can have a new capital reborn. So I'm not sure whether this is a kind of doubling yet, okay, but yet you put in the idea of the placenta. I think that is where you talk a kind of a speculative practice as well, that there is a certain placenta of this new capital, okay, and now is being birthed by the whole process, by the nation, by international corporate and state interest in this project. And now you're going in there to plant this time capsule, all right? So I'm a sort of very loose notes that I have made, and I've been thinking about that. So perhaps just two questions I think I want to ask is that how is this tie into, or in what way do you guys feel that this is expanding the Ring of Fire, the kind of more the complex discovery that you think can fit into a Ring of Fire? And my observation, the second one is my observation about this doubling in terms of twinning and reenactment, the kind of echo. And if you really want to answer this, I can also say, how do you see that idea of doubling happening in Tita Irwan collaboration? Because I know this is when you work as an artist, you are Irwan Tita, but when you work as a designer, you are Ahmett Salina. So there's a different kind of collaboration that you work as well. So I'm just curious now, this kind of doubling, this kind of twinning, right? How interesting is it to you? Or maybe it's just my own observation and I sort of see this pattern emerging. All right, that's all.
Well, yeah, nice observation. Thank you, Saubin. Actually, maybe because we are Gemini. No, joking. We both Gemini. It's good eye. I mean, this is a very ambitious project about the Ring of Fire. So the scale and the body capability to deal with this catastrophe is just we cannot deal with. For example, 2 days ago, I went to Semeru mountain, who was erupted almost every day, and we facing like 100 degrees Celsius of the hot cloud goes to from the crater. So this is kind of magnificent experience. I mean, in the same time, it's a very paradox because so beautiful, so magnificent, but my body is trembling. The sounds also louder and better than any other installation from sound artists in the world, because it's almost like roaring of tiger, but bigger, like thunder.
Dito maybe Marapi.
Dito may be very familiar with Marapi because he lives nearby. He makes friends with Marapi volcanoes. But my experience in Semeru, it's like a very still new. But in the same times, in that area, also the sites of the massacre during the 1965, when a lot of communists were killed in a brutal ways. For me, this kind of mix between the beauty of violence created by nature, but also the paradoxical of humans, class ideology, it creates so many kind of layers of imagination. We maybe try to simplify the terms, like below the surface of the earth, there is the subduction of the flat earth. So it creates earthquakes, volcanoes, fertile lines, but also deadly lava. But on the top, there is also the class of ideology. That's why the violence happened. It's never been solved until today. And it creates such a very traumatic experience for the people. But how we can see the body gestures of the deep trauma without words, just through the body communication, just through the symbol. It looks like apes. Actually, human, it's built by the norms and narratives. But when come to things cannot speak, the body will speak by itself. So by learning of the proboscis monkey, I hope I could better capture that human communication without words, especially when the problem is too heavy to talk. All the reality, it's too miserable to accept.
I think the connection with the Ring of Fire, like in the beginning, we have like these assumptions, like whenever there is this like a series of natural disasters, either like a tsunamis or volcanoes or floods or earthquakes, that will be followed by something, like whether it is like political tensions or ideological clashes. So at the beginning, this is kind of thing that we are very interested to analyze, to want to find out what is the connection between the natural disaster and the ideological classes. Why several events occurred between natural and the political classes. Somehow it happens like in the same periodic of time. But like Irwan said that later on we find out that when this massive natural disaster happens, when there are many casualties, many victims, many destructions, there are also a lot of problems coming out, like whether this is like an unsolved, or whether like, of course, people lost many things, and of course it creates other problems. So I think that's the connections where when the natural disaster happens, and then the destructions, many destructions happens, then the problems in between the human interactions also getting worse.
Yeah, for example, it's a very close. This is not like story from outside. I mean, today we had a dinner with Tita before this talk, and he told me that yesterday her mother told unpleasant stories about Tita's grandfather. He killed by somebody in the rice fields. So this is a very shock for me, because for almost 40 years, Tita's mother-in-law never talk about this. And finally, she confessed to Tita about this reality. So how he keep this secret for his life, for her life, for her whole life. And regarding your question about the twinning doubles, yes, I agree. I think this is kind of the style of our twist, because it just makes it easier. I mean, this is too complex to bring many things, because research is like open the Pandora box, just like keep open, and we end up with confusing. But this twinning or double thing, it's a very, it's almost like law of physics. This is like plus and minus, male and females, hot and cold. This pair, it's just like, it's a very universal, basic, it exists maybe in all universe, but we want to twist it in our own imagination about the iron placenta. The placenta come from stories of ancient Majapahit, but then the future of Nusantara, we try to twist the same things, and it's much easier to put to simplify the layers of stories into the simple act who already become common memories or common collective memories or even common knowledge. And we start get used to it. And one of the things we try to do is how to build a bridge from our own experience to the audience. Sometimes video or audio, it's not real enough. I mean, the experience, we walk on fire in the burning of massive coals. This kind of unimaginable feeling is almost like walking in hell, because it's so thick and coughing all the time, and my eyes is like watery, and this cold, it's burning non-stop forever. I mean, if there is a massive rains, yes, rains will come, but the fires didn't stop. It's even create more haze and smoke. So, and again, this is kind of the simple how a body try to absorb many information, which is negative or positive. I mean, this is a very luxurious, especially right now. Human bodies cannot save any longer materials. We need handphones, we need externals to put more extended bodies, but to be there as a real archives from the evolutionary products still have the capability to have feelings, which is cannot tell by words, but our soul really be the best mediums to understand, and also as a hub to can I say to reflect the complexity of this the situation. Of course, at the end of the day, we don't want to be trapped in the political correctness. This is kind of the toxic as an Indonesian who lives and work abroad, because at the end of the day, we just like become an NGO talking about the morals. And this is kind of good, but we are not NGO, we are artists. So this kind of always challenge us, because like Saubin said, we're still working as an NGO, kind of
Yeah, creative design.
Creative design for some NGOs. And this mentality is like maybe the invisible wall for us to break it. I hope it's clear, but I'm so sorry, it's still very abstract.
Yeah, actually, yeah, thanks, Saubin. So we never realized that about this twinning, about this twinning roles. Yes, somehow I don't know, we never plan.
Yeah, all the performance in that videos and Irwan Placenta, it's not planned. So just like really happening spontaneously.
Yeah, spontaneous.
No preparation, no second option. So just like all as that is.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think the gesture, I don't know, maybe some gestures is like copying like the previous act that was done with somebody else, probably, or yeah, I don't know, but I cannot explain. Sorry.
Yeah, I think I just put it on the chat box maybe for those who I think this is more than performative. I think from a certain anthropology of ritual and things like that, the idea of reenacting is actually very important. So I think in this case, as an artist or as a researcher, where you're actually trying to discover, but you're also allowing yourself to be a medium, you channel the experience, you try to internalize or to create a certain empathy. I mean, I would like to look at, think maybe there is certain that kind of sentiments in you as well. When I'm thinking about all the different books that you guys have done, from Apocalyptic Smile to Batam, Lane Laundering. It's like, all right, you guys are doing all this, again. It's like you want to really live that, but somehow the only best way is try to reenact. Because I think this is what we really want to do, to create the resonance not only within ourselves, but also to whoever we want to speak to and speak with, I suppose.
Yeah. And maybe just come out from our experience. For example, we just realized after did the performance, it's very similar to the experience that we saw in Taipei when people burning kind of paper money. When I don't know, Ghost Day or something, I still forget, but I still remember people doing that kind of ritual. When we saw that huge fire, what we did is, you have money? Yes, just burn. So just burn the money with coals. But unfortunately, there is no time to edit, but there is one performance that we burn money by coals. So maybe again, it's the double repetition, but not only just burn, but we bend or we add something to that burning process. For example, we normally people on the ritual, they burn all this paper money until become dust, ashes. But we just burn some part, so only small part still left, and this is kind of the symbol to something. So maybe just make again, just this twist is just easier and cheaper to do, just not to build. I mean, for the big or a giant sword or giant golok, there is no choice. Finally we decided to create the massive sculptures. But that experience we did after we went to salt mining for the Jongmen project in Cirebon. There is a huge, massive sand mining still in a very traditional way. It's almost like in different planets. The people who live there have different mentality to people in Jakarta, because Jakarta is always live in a very small space. We think always how to storage the artwork, how to build the workshop. But the people in the large space, they always desires to create something big. So if they make sculptures, always the giant size. And if they make a ritual, always bigger size. So and from that research, we inspire to create a giant masjid or giant, kind of a Japanese samurai to beheaded the mythological creatures.
Oh, you have another question, Saubin.
Yeah, Saubin, have the last question.
Just a question. I mean, if you want to open up for the floor, I think it's good also. But it's great now. Now I remember where the SOT project. It was actually for the project that is curated by Jong-un. Now I remember where I see it because I remember, oh yeah, you went into that project as well. So I like that kind of interwoven in a lot of your research project, that you can actually bring different things, and it's like almost like it's a long thing, but yet you can break it into the modular, and then the different modular would actually, connect together with different parts to be a different narrative, but yet the actual narratives are all intertwined together in a larger scale, and hence I asked how they actually work into the Ring of Fire meta perspective in that sense. But anyhow, I'm just throwing questions here, but I think Seema, maybe we can open it for our panel, our audience here as well.
Okay. Is there anyone have questions or feedback for Irwan and Tita? I think LD want to say something. LD from Jogja.
Halo.
Hey, LD.
Halo Mbak. I think what you did is keren banget gitu loh Mbak. It reminds me of Peripi. So when people want to build like candi or something, they burn like in the kendi or something. They put like gold or bones, padi, coffee or something inside the land before they build in candi. So Peripi is the important things for the candi. So when Indonesia want to build a new city, capital city, so you put the Peripi, it's super cool. I know, wow, because Peripi is the important thing. So many like like treasure hunter, the important things that they want to get is the Peripi. So they dig some things to get Peripi. So sometimes the candi is not really important, but the main thing is the Peripi itself. That's it.
What is Peripi?
Peripi is just like ritual.
Oh,
like what you did, persis like what you did. So they put they put some like the important thing like gold and like bones or something put in the kendi or something, and then burn.
So if we need a lot of funding, just go to Borobudur, and digging up. Maybe there is a massive gold.
yeah, because some of the candi there is not. When the archaeologists dig the land, they didn't find the Peripi anymore. The Peripi is already gone.
Yeah, actually the time capsule it consists messages, letters from people in Kalimantan, actually, mainly young, very young, like under 20, right, Ayun?
I already forget. I think many things like the.
But also, we added
text, microplastic, the sound of the Irrawaddy dolphins.
Yes, that's also.
And the terracotta from Majapahit. So we buried there. So and what else? So many.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe Nita want to share something. As long as you help you.
Ayun also from East Kalimantan, so maybe better knowledge about the area than us.
Yeah, thank you, Mas Irwan. Yeah, actually, yeah, I'm very happy to be in the team with Mbak Tita and Mas Iwang when we were doing our project. Name is The Color of Dying Planet, and because I have a space with my own place, which is Kalimantan, because I have lived in Jakarta since 2014. So I have so far away about the condition in there, and when I back to there, and I just like, oh my goodness, so there's so many problems in my place like that. Then when I see they have a project, then I insist. I just like really insist to join an IDM. Mas Iwang to us about for us about the project, and we did the project, and I saw the place with my eyes. There's so many things, this and that, broken places, and also so many differences with the place. There is a flood everywhere because there is so much the forest, the burnt forest for the mining coal also, and also what makes me really sad is my friend, which is the young generation, didn't get what the problem is in our place, because they think the development is good for the future, and also the new capital is good for the future, but they didn't see about the behind of the impact of the new capital itself. Yeah, I think that's all. Then I about the time capsule, I'm eager to see how it will be in the 10 years later, which is the place is planned for the new capital, and I don't know, we can see the time capsule or not, but we have a copy in multi-place. I think that's all. That's very great and very interesting project. And from this project, that because I'm still a student in Jogja, from the project, and Mas Iwang also remind me, you have to go back to your place after your studies, because there are so many things that you have to pick up about your place, and it still sound in my mind until now. I think that's all. Thank you, Mbak Tita and Mas Iwang.
Thank you, Ayun. Yeah, the good
Thank
things
you.
right now, the movement by the young people in East Kalimantan, they are really amazing. For example, we met a person who dedicated their life to protect the forest, like really put the risk by protect the last forest, and also the couple who protect the Irrawaddy dolphins, who already only 80 left. 80. Maybe in the next decade, if things happen, they will extinct. So there is a people who really put the position in the very serious and perhaps more important than any other jobs. I always believe in this kind of devastated situation, there must be a small inspiration, but we need time to discover. And hopefully, like next month, I invited to screen the videos, Iron Placenta in the community architectures from East Kalimantan. So it's around 200 students and professionals will show this work. It's gonna be very interesting to provoke to start thinking about their own position, because it's not us, we are in Java, it's their own future in Kalimantan who already, let's say, facing the ecological collapse. And the scale, like Saubin said, is just imaginable scale. And things happen in Kalimantan, it's always like double scale, like the scale of the floods, maybe bigger than Taipei. And the spread of the haze, maybe just we can see from the satellite scale. And again, to do this continuous project, we need a lot of resource, because the high cost operationals, but also takes times and resource, right, to do. Yeah, for one point to another point, it's not like in Java. It's very comfortable with public transport. So we have to rent special cars and spend more time to have better understanding about the indigenous cultures. And I still remember in Dayak, who already exists these tribes, not only in Kalimantan, but also in some part of Malaysia, they still believe like headhunters. I mean, they try literally like headhunters. So during the 1998, there is some people, 2000, it was horizontal conflict between Dayak people and Maduris and Madura. And they really kill people in bloody way. So they use their own weapon, they call it mandau. And we learn how to do this, how you kill without any guilty feelings. Maybe for the modern or for the human right is problematic, but I mean, maybe things like this will go soon. We just want to know the experience, how to calling the ancestors, how we become a demon, how we can bring our enemy bloods, for example. So this story is, it's almost like an urban legend, but the people who did it still exist today, and we still can meet and talk with them. Some people, they could become accepted by the society, they healing, become a normal people, but some of them, they fail, they become, I think, yeah, like mass organization, losing their minds. And these people is really trapped with violence. And at the end, we discover another story that this, let's say, problematic people who facing a deadly trauma in the year 2000s, it's collected by the military and the recruits by the military, and military create a special division for these people. That's really crazy. They train in a very traditional ways to use mandau for the violence. So which means, again, we're facing not about the happy world, but it's the reality when the beauty and the death live in the same place.
Okay. Thank you. So, okay, you already answered Saubin's question. Okay, maybe the last question, or is there anyone want to share, or do you have any feedback for Irwan or Tita? Okay, so Fiona,
okay. Maybe.
Fiona.
Changwen. Actually,
Right,
Changwen is the first person that I shared the videos in Taiwan.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. I have the obligation to ask you something. Actually, for me, I'm very interested in how you interweave different kind of narrative, because like in most of your work, there are myth, legend, news, and of course, like that kind of first person narrative you produce during your action. So what I like to ask you is like, how do you see different kind of narratives, and how is there any hierarchy between different kind of narrative, or like actually you see them like you see them in a parallel way, like, so how do you put them together in your work, and how do you try to produce another kind of meaning based on this complicated way of interweaving?
Maybe it's just simple. We try to use our imagination to make an intervention beyond that existing narrative. So this is the difficult part, because otherwise we just only tell the real stories. It's almost like a news update, which is every news did it, or every person can find on the internet loaded of information. But we challenge ourselves how to make an intervention beyond these narratives. Of course, there is a speculation risk. It could be, let's say, there is no basic no basic collective opinion about these new narratives, but it's only personal. But I think I quite often to find this many difficult situation it's cannot solve, except it's a very classic, but we cannot only twist or bend this narrative, at least in our own personal level. So this scale is a very egoist, and sometimes it's really not make on us happy. For example, we keep fighting all the time when facing this process between me and Tita. For example, we always come a very different opinion about the conclusion, for example. But maybe this is the good things. When the conflict happens between us, the new things will come out. But not it's always successful. Sometimes we don't talk each other for a few days, for example.
Okay.
So
Fiona, maybe you would like to say something.
Hello. I was thinking because, sorry, just 1 minute, because also one of my friends that live in Chittagong in Bangladesh, they're easy to get the scale, human scale. I mean, because they have a war in 1971 and a lot of violence happened even now, but no one talk about it. So I just feel you are so strong to facing this kind of to dig out this kind of the issue. And I don't know, is that also a symbol of that Indonesia is getting better at that people, artists can start to talk about this issue?
I mean, in the small communities, it's possible, like more specific or let's say more similar frequency, because it's already quite openly talking, and there is a lot of investigation by the scholar and academics about what is true and what is false history. But if we go to the public domains, it's still very high risk. We don't know this subject. It can be freely speak out in
yeah, if we speak out about this issue very public, like unfortunately also the situation here, ada tahu somehow we mundur ke belakang ya, we kind like a backward, like it reminds me during the dictatorship in the Suharto era, so where a lot of I mean more and more censorship happening here. So it's not as the freedom of speech somehow is getting more and more restricted as well. So I think that's also not so many, very few people like or artists talking about the sensitive topics because of this. Yeah. Like us, for example, so I don't know, like because of this situation, so we are getting more and more afraid as well. So like for this video, for example, the Iron Placenta, because some scenes we took it without permissions, so we still considering not to share it online. Yeah,
public.
Yeah,
and the more. Yeah, in the last 3 or 4 years, we more produce non-public videos. Before it just like very easy, just share it online. But nowadays it's a very different. Only limited audience works, but in the broader audience, it's still. I think it's.
Or maybe we can set a limitation on certain area. Like if you want, we can set a limit on certain nations or areas. Just tell me.
Yeah. Maybe not only happen in Indonesia, in some area that's the same.
Yeah.
But the good things, young generation right now, really they have more curious about the true history, which is a very good indicator. So hopefully this create a good momentum for the future of the nation, at least for what is the true, and then what is the things that we can learn from the darkest history of Indonesian history.
Okay. Right.
Thanks, Fiona.
So,
thank you, Fiona. Ricky.
So just in case that if you still have some question, and if you haven't watched the film Irwan Placenta and also Batam, and also maybe some other works, because I don't know if you have other works that put online, just like us, we did a lot of work. Okay, I'm kidding. So you can go online and maybe you can Google Ahmett Tita on YouTube, also Nusantara archive, and we have released this film online, and you can leave messages on that the below the I mean you can comment, and I guess they will answer you, and you can have a discussion there. Yeah, thank you, Sima, and thank you everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Actually, I have a question, but Irwan and Tita already answered. Yeah, I just want to mention that I really appreciate their high mobility in producing art, and yeah, they tell me, yeah, this journey to Kalimantan opened up their eyes, and yeah, as an artist based in Jakarta, on Java Island. Yeah, it seems that they have a lot of cultural shock or something else in Kalimantan. Yeah, so yeah.
Because Indonesia is not only Java, eventually.
Yeah.
And I'm really tired with like Indonesian art scene. Not Indonesian art scene, it's Java art scene. There is no art from Kalimantan. There is no art from Sulawesi, even from Papua.
Yeah.
So this Java art scene.
So
anyway, Dito, maybe you want to tell. You are in Banyuwangi now, probably. Also in Java.
No, we are back.
Oh, okay.
We're back in Jogja,
Oh,
in Java.
Hi,
Java.
everyone. Thank you, Mbak Tita.
And we plan to visit Dito and Mira place. So and recently we more and more interest with the volcanoes. So now we have 3 volcanoes active in Java. So it's just like crazy and it's a magnificent site to visit. If you want to join, let us know. We can make a volcano tour.
Yes.
Please apply for the insurance. Yeah, very high insurance.
Well, yeah.
No insurance.
Okay. So
Sima.
okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Please.
I'll finish the meeting.
Okay.
No, I just want to share something like I mean, yeah, it seems that the ideological violence in Indonesia is getting worse. Maybe I cannot say it's getting worse. I'm also afraid. So yeah, but maybe how do you say that Indonesian is stepping into another order? Maybe now the government need a new order. Yeah, so
New order. new order.
New post new order or something like that.
Yeah, so okay, but I think Irwan and Tita, as an artist, you can still react and have your reflection to the society. So we'll be expecting for your new project, new work, or is anything else. Your new journey is not finished yet.
Yes.
Okay, so thank you for everyone for tonight.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, friends.
Thanks.
Thank
Me
you for
too,
staying.
online.
We need to have a group photo.
Oh, okay. Group photos.
How to have a good photo
So
online?
everyone should have camera on.
Really?
How pay?
Dito, Mira.
So how to make a
happy face?
Who wants to make a screenshot? Because I don't know how to make it. Maybe
I can do it.
Okay.
Okay.
You mean like everyone?
Yes. How pay and PU. Lim Soyi.
Soyi.
Oh, Jalan.
Okay. Oh.
Okay.
Wait.
Cool.
Wait. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, cheese. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
No, not yet.
Christmas.
Merry
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye. Okay.
谢谢大家。
谢谢